Good afternoon. My name is Richard. I'm going to be presenting the holiday booking system for software engineering. This project has been created by myself, Andreas, Joey and Kevin. I will now take you through the overall steps we took in producing this report, the system overview and the main functionalities. This is the system overview. We came up with an initial target for the project and we summed up in a strap line. This was to develop a system based online which allowed the ease of access and use for the general public. This was vital to us as we wanted to ensure this was a complete holiday booking system rather than one that only offered booking for just flights or just hotels, for example. We aim to integrate our system with other booking and payment platforms. This will ensure ease of access, also ensuring the current details of the holidays are always up to date, as rates and details change very often. We have outlined some of the main tools we've used throughout the project, such as requirements document. We used a Moscow approach. This was the must, should, could and would. For the system, we used domain models, use case diagrams, use cases, cross-reference matrix, analysis class diagrams, activity and sequence diagrams, state machine diagrams, package diagrams, and the analysis of the functionality. So this will sum up the entire project for you from a technical point of view. During the requirements and analysis workflows, a number of words and phrases were identified as having specific meanings in the context of this project. In order to ensure clarity, a project glossary was maintained and used as a reference throughout the project lifecycle. This can be found above. It summarises terms such as acronyms used as HBS, holiday booking systems, and the reviews systems, the computer reservation system. This can be used throughout the project. A requirements analysis was undertaken to enforce the understanding of the system and ensure the customer's experience were fully taken into account through discovery and agreement. The gathered requirements were collated into a table as shown above. The table shows the full set of functional and non-functional requirements for the holiday booking system as proposed by the customer. Additionally, each requirement has been prioritised by their level of importance using the Moscow approach. This is the second part of the requirements document. Related requirements have been organised and grouped into categories for ease of use, and the actors involved for each requirements are also specified in the relevant columns. As briefly mentioned before, we have specified the requirements in their terms of importance using the Moscow approach. Moscow approach is the must, should, could and would approach in prioritising specific categories in the system requirements. And this comes to the end of our system requirements section. We are now on the domain diagram section. We have created a domain diagram as can be seen above. This diagram has helped us identify the domain models and enabled us to further analyse the problem domains. Domain entities were especially helpful in visually representing the various sections involved in the system's behaviour, as can be seen above, and the relationships between them. As you can see, we've arrived at the use case diagrams. We've produced a use case diagram for the project. Doing this, we listed all the different use cases which we'll be creating. Then we positioned them onto a chart, a diagram as you can see above, and illustrated their relationships between each other and with their relevant actors. This has been very beneficial for us. Rather than looking through a list of long requirements, we've been able to visually see it on a screen and see how they work together. After using the list of use cases in the previous slide and putting it into a use case diagram, we have split them into specific use cases and identified each one and labelled their brief description, what it will do, the primary actors, if need be secondary actors, the preconditions and the main flow, post-conditions and alternative flows. We have over 10 use cases and they've all been detailed, but I've just noted 2 of them for you in this presentation. The cross-reference matrix represents the final task of our use case analysis in this section. The purpose of the matrix is a document which shows the relationship between each use case and user requirements specification. This tool allows consistency within the requirements in that each requirement must consist with a certain use case and ensures that all requirements are met and not omitted from the system. We've arrived at the class diagram section. This is a type of analysis on the class diagrams. In the class diagrams, we consider the classes more carefully in terms of their attributes and operations. We also define the relationship with the other classes. This helps us ensure visual representation of the different classes and their relationships between each other. We next produced sequence and activity diagrams. These were produced during the initial preparation stages of the project. The diagrams are almost an extension of the use cases, as they further demonstrate the interactions and data transformations between different objects within each use case. These diagrams graphically show the sequence in which objects are carried out or performed, emphasizing the flow of messages. This is an example of an activity diagram which we've created. This one is relevant to performing a search. This is an example of one of the sequence diagrams which we've created. This is relevant for frequently asked questions. These are examples of state machine diagrams. The diagram on the left presents an example state machine diagram for the booking class during a flight booking process. The rounded rectangles represent states. You see that instances of flight booking can be in seat choosing, pending payment, transaction complete and booking confirmation. An object starts in an initial state represented by the closed circle and can end up in a final state represented by the bordered circle, just like the UML activity diagrams. We have arrived at the package diagram. As you can see, this is an example of a package diagram for our project. Package diagram was created during the initial stages of the process. The model elements are grouped into semantically related elements and show the dependencies between the groups of the model elements that make up the entire model group. We've arrived at the analysis of model functionality. The table shows a list of functions that the system is capable of and performs in accordance with the requirements of the system. The holiday booking system is a web-based interface providing customers with a service to search and book holidays, hotels, flights, completing with car rental. As can be seen with the previous slide and the one we're looking at now, the analysis refers to the requirements documents with their reference numbers and the next column the importance, and the next column the demonstration in a prototype. As mentioned before, the system provides two separate interfaces and different levels of access to the database according to the different actors using the system, admin and customer. The functions can therefore be divided between the two users. We have admin-related interface to ensure there are maintenance checks and the confidentiality of the client, the customers using the system. We have now arrived at the design stage of the project. Please be aware we have not employed professional designers to design the project for us, so we've just put something together ourselves. As you can see, this is a sample login form. This is the sample home screen. This is the sample search result display. This is the sample booking page. This is what the FAQ page should look like. A list of FAQs along the top, and then once you click in, there should be some answers there for them. This is the sample booking form. Once you're ready to fill in your personal details. This is the sample payment form. Please note we've integrated the system with PayPal to ensure ease of access and customer reliability. This brings us to almost the end of our presentation, our conclusion. We found that all software engineering processes has been successfully complete and the requirements of the system were fully accomplished. Using a software engineering methodology was beneficial for the planning of the project and overseeing the project growth. The various methods and tools used for the development of the project were extremely efficient, and it aided in the effectiveness of the product lifecycle. Thank you for listening to our presentation. I hope this was useful. I hope I haven't bored you too much, and I look forward for you to read my report and the group report and see your thoughts. Thank you very much. All the best.